Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. If you like The Mike Wagner Show and you want to make your own podcast, well, let me tell you about Anchor. First of all, it's free. Secondly, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. You can also add any song from Spotify directly to your episodes. The possibilities are endless. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you. You can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, many more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started. This edition of The Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Picture This Photo Books, where remembering is the key ingredient. How beautiful your mother looked at her wedding, and even more so at yours. And who doesn't miss Grandma's meatballs? The holidays are coming. What better time to give a gift of remembrance that makes you laugh and cry all at the same time? Whatever gift of Grandma's recipes, or just because, those smiles and tears will melt your heart. Call Karen Shaw at 646-798-0809 or visit PictureThisPhotoBooks.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 10% off your first order. Picture This Photo Books, bringing your memories back to life. They're whimsical, casual, or formal, and always uniquely you.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. It's time to give a shout out to our official sponsor of The Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mian Mohsen Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, then you'll love Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia. Available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. It takes place in 4 countries with 2 strangers and 1 target where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available in paperback and ebook on Amazon. Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia has garnered great reviews and is even loved by Hollywood celebrities including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today. Order Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia, now available at Amazon.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mian Mohsen Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Hollywood celebrities including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today if it goes Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia, available on Amazon. Also, the Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Picture This Photo Books, where remembering is a key ingredient. How beautiful your mother looked at her wedding, and even more so at yours. Who doesn't miss Grandma's meatballs, huh? Well, the holidays are coming. What better time to give a gift of remembrance makes you laugh and cry all at the same time? Whatever gift for Grandma's recipes or just because, those smiles and tears will melt your heart. Call Karen Shaw at Picture This Photo Books at 646-798-0809 or visit PictureThisPhotoBooks.com. Mention Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Picture This Photo Books. Bring your memories back to life. The whimsical, casual, or formal, and always uniquely you. Also, check out The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com on over 30 podcast platforms. Take The Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also, follow The Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter, and check out The Mike Wagner Show merchandise at themikewagnershow.com and also on amazon.com at The Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to amazon.com and check out the Me and Molson Zia store for great books, t-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, and a lot more. Check those out today, and don't forget to support generously to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com. Click on the donate button, and also support us on Anchor FM/support and PayPal at paypal.com/The Mike Wagner Show or Mike Wagner voiceover, and make sure you do so today. We're here with a terrific award-winning filmmaker and actor with over 27 credits. He's currently in Fresno, California. He's known for the cult hit Last American Horror Show featuring Mel Novak, also Felissa Rose, and Lynn Lowry is in that one for Cat People, and Robert Mukes as well, too, and Archie Hall Jr., and also he's also had done a number of films like Lamb Feed, Night of the Sea Monkey, and Strange Files, and a lot more, and Dead Voices. I mean, he has just a plethora of titles out there. You can check out his IMDb page. And live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios in beautiful downtown Fresno, ladies and gentlemen, the multi-talented, award-winning filmmaker and actor with over 27 credits, and we'll talk about his latest movie and the well-known cult classic, Michael Rodriguez. Michael, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Well, thank you. That's quite an introduction, and I really appreciate it. And thank you all for listening out there.
Well, of course, a guy like you who's award-winning with over 27 credits, I mean, that's got to be amazing. You're also known for the cult hit Last American Horror Show featuring Mel Novak, also featuring Felissa Rose from Sleepaway Camp, Lynn Lowry from Cat People, Robert Mukes from House of a Thousand Corpses, Arch Hall Jr., The Sadist. You also directed Lamb Feed, Night of the Sea Monkey, Strange Files, and a lot more. We'll also talk about your latest movie dealings and a sequel to Last American Show, which is Last American Horror Show 2, which there's been big talk about. And before we get to all of those, Michael, tell us how I first got started.
Oh, well, the way I first got started is as a kid, I was always a storyteller. I mean, I would always be able to tell a very vivid story and, and write and all this other stuff. But what really, really got me going is I went to my grandparents. They took me to Universal Studios when I was 8 years old. This was like in the early 80s. And I remember, when you're a kid, sometimes you have a one-track mind. And I remember wanting to see the Jaws ride because Jaws has always been one of my favorite movies. I mean, out of anything in any genre, I love every genre. I'm pretty eclectic on what I like as movies. I'm not just a basic horror fan. I'm a fan of everything, musicals even. And but Jaws has always been one of my top 5 favorites. And I remember at 8 years old, I wanted to go and I wanted to get on the Jaws see Jaws. And we went, and it's funny because my kind of luck, we get there and we're getting on the tram and they make the announcement the Jaws ride will be closed, for maintenance, for a week or whatever. So I'm kind of bummed out.
I can imagine that going on. It's closed. Sorry, folks.
So as at 8 years old and you're on vacation, I'm still making the most of it, but I'm thinking to myself in my head, I'm kind of bummed, and I'm like, well, what else am I going to enjoy? I really came to see Jaws, And then as we're going, I'm watching all these things and how they parted the Red Sea and how they did the towering inferno and how they can just turn the fire on and off and how these buildings are just facades. And it just really amazed me about the nuts and bolts of how you make a movie, and how the audience perceives it and how you really see it. And that always stuck with me. So I grew up, my grandfather was a camera enthusiast. So, he had 8mm cameras laying around. We would shoot on those and, and then, video cameras came in and I learned how to start dubbing with 2 VCRs, like making my own edits and everything like that. And that's where it all started. It took I took a long gap away from that because then, I went through college, and then I went, and did my thing and started having a family and everything else like that. So then I actually just reignited it in my mid 30s.
Wow.
So I've only been really physically doing it like professionally on that level for about a decade, which is that's, I'm still in my infancy if you really count that. Some people, it takes 10, 15 years to really break through, to start making films and getting them distributed. And I'm working with 3 different distributors, so I feel really just blessed to be able to start late in my life, and it's just proof that it's never too late. And to be working under 3 different distributors is just a blessing.
And that's so true as well too. And I speak on behalf of myself and everybody who decides to resume their careers late, and it's never too late. And I'm very happy for you, Michael, as well too. And what was that one precise moment that simply influenced you, besides the thing with Jaws, that you wanted to do this for the rest of your life? What was that one precise moment that simply lit a light bulb in your head and simply said, this is what I'm going to do?
Oh, well, that's a good one, because what happened was I started writing. I was working as a professional photographer during this period in the mid 2000s, and every so often we would get sent to like a school for retakes, and sometimes you'd sit there between like class periods and you'd get maybe 1 or 2 subjects, and then you'd have to wait another hour or so. So what I would do is I used to write in high school, and I started writing story arcs on little cards, on cue cards, and I was, these little tiny cards, and I would write like story arcs. And before you know it, I got pretty decent with it. So then I started, it's funny because I'm pretty primitive. I didn't get a cell phone for a long time. I didn't get on social media for forever, and same thing with a PC at home and everything like that. So I started writing just as a hobby, on my time off, and in the leisure. I kind of really, it felt good to kind of reignite that that artistry. And I got into a writers group, and what happened was they connected me with a company out of Connecticut that would ghostwrite for like like say sci-fi channel. Say they're developing a movie or whatever, and they need somebody to kind of help write in some stuff, action or whatever. So anyways, I got tangled up in doing that for like about 1.5 years, almost 2 years.
Oh wow!
And so I was writing, and I was actually like getting I was getting these commission checks, like for writing, say 5 pages of something like that. I'd take it to the notary, and then I'd sign all the NDAs and everything, and then they'd send me like $400 or $500 to do this.
Nice.
So I was doing this for a couple of years, and I got to a point where like maybe everybody always tells me I'm a pretty decent writer, and I'm doing this, and I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe I can do this on my own. Maybe I can write and create something, and it'll have my name stamped on it, because nothing had my name on it. I didn't even get credit for any of it. I just got paid and signed everything over. So I wrote a film, and I started saving money, and I wasn't really going to direct it. I was just going to write it and then executive produce it and see how it turned out. And funny thing is, I couldn't at the time. Every studio I approached either didn't like the material, or they just didn't want to do it, and it was like, I'm throwing cash at you saying, hey, look, I saved up some money. I just need you to help me make this movie. And no one did it until I was corresponding with this producer, Ricardo Vasquez, out of Gilbert, Arizona. And well, he's originally from Mesa, but we ended up shooting in Gilbert. So he tells me, come down here. I'll get you a crew. I'll get you, everything else. And by that time, I had already started meeting celebrities, and I didn't even have my Facebook yet. I just corresponded like through emails. So I ended up working with Lynn Lowry first, and we shot it, but I couldn't get anybody to direct it, so I ended up directing it. And that was my first time, and I was way over my head on everything, but I learned so much. I learned so much from like the crew. I learned so much from Lynn Lowry, who's just, she's been in the business for, she's a legend. And and it ended up being pretty good. It actually won some awards, and it got me interviewed by like Fangoria magazine, which I read as a kid.
Wow.
And it was one of those things where it just kind of snowballed, and then I knew I had to test myself and keep going, because I said, okay, well, maybe I'm pretty good at writing, directing. I never believe in spreading myself thin, so I don't go into scoring. I tried editing, and I can do editing, but I don't have the patience. So writing, directing is where I'm at, and producing. I can produce, but producing's also a whole other beast. And if I have to produce for somebody, just don't ask me to do anything else but produce. I'll produce for you, and I'll do a great job, but it's a whole entire beast by itself. But I love to do anything I can for anybody on any set.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds like you got a lot of experience as well, too. I'll talk about some of the things that you did on the set. You learned things. You did something new. What are some of the things you actually did learn or made mistakes, and you learned from it, too? So we can all, follow your advice or lead that, what are some of the things you made mistakes on, how you corrected, and, how are some of the things that was new to you, and how did you manage to pull it off?
Well, it's always a learning process. That's a really good question, because even though I've done it for a decade, and I've been on sets, I've worked on pilots, there's also, there's things that aren't even on my IMDb that I've worked on and that I'm proud of and everything like that. But it's always a learning process. But if I can tell anybody that's out there right now, and they're picking up camera equipment and they got ideas to film, make sure that sound is a huge component to making that picture come to life. So make sure, I never thought that going in. When I first got, started doing it, I'm thinking, okay, as long as you have a great camera and everything else, you'll be fine. But you know what? Sound is going to save you with what the camera can't bring to you. You got to have all those sounds. You have to have Foley. You have to have, so here's what I say. Find a really good, solid team. Find somebody that just focuses on sound, and that's their integrity, is giving you the best sound. Find somebody that's going to give you the best quality picture. So basically what I'm going to tell people is find a team, don't spread yourself too thin and say, hey, well, I got these great ideas, I can write, I can probably direct this, and I'll shoot it myself, because you always kind of want to focus on what your strength is.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I can really connect with actors, and I can really connect with the story, and I can break it down in a certain way that I can pretty much get what I want out of the performance. So I know that, even though I have a background in photography and I could probably shoot the film, I don't want to take a focus away from me conducting the pace of the acting, because, if I spread myself too thin, something may lag somewhere else. So, I would say sound is super important. Don't just get a camera, get some really good mic, get some really good mics to help you with that. 'Cause it's a big puzzle. Not only is filming the movie a puzzle, but also everything surrounding it, the lighting of it, the sounds and the picture and everything like that. That's you're working with two separate puzzles when you're directing.
Mm-hmm.
And but that's important. So always remember that. Get yourself a really good team together, but get people that have that integrity to get that nice, if you want to start on the right foot, you always want to start there and just kind of build yourself a really good team that believes in the work and believes in their duty. And once they own it, then you're like, it's almost foolproof. Once you get a good, once you get a good band together, it's almost foolproof after that.
It sounds amazing as well, too. And, of course, all your work has done really well, like Lamb Feed, Night of the Sea Monkey, and much more as well, too, and Dead Voices and more. And, of course, speaking of movies and everything, Michael, what are some of your favorite movies growing up, and how about some of your favorite actors, actresses, and directors growing up?
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. First of all, on the top of my list is Jaws, of course. And it's funny because it really wasn't for the horror of the shark. A lot of people just like, they say Jaws, and I mean, I didn't really, growing up when you watch a movie like that, you don't know. Back then you didn't really get the backstories of anything unless you bought like a book, about the production, of it. And so later on in life, as DVD movies came out and the internet came out, you started hearing stories about the shark not working and how they did it. What I really like about Jaws, it's super character driven for a long time, and it leaves you. It's very suspenseful, so like you're very enthralled in the characters in the movie. And and the thing is too, Spielberg has a way of doing that in in every movie he's ever made. If you notice, like Close Encounters, things like that, you take that ride with the character,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Jaws is at the top of the list. Let's see what else. There's different genres. I mean, that I loved. Of course, I grew up watching Star Wars, and sci-fi played a big part in my life and inspiration. And I did one sci-fi. I did a short film that's actually in the anthology for Last American Horror Show 2 that's coming out March 4th of 2022. So we'll plug that in a while. But anyways, my dream was to do like a sci-fi kind of rip off, and I squeaked by with it, and we had fun with it. But Jaws was a pivotal moment when I watched it. William Lustig's Maniac. I remember seeing that, and I saw it on video cassette. I didn't see it in the theater, but I watched it. And see, back then when you're watching a movie like in the early 80s, you're not even watching it like on a big screen. How everybody now, and you go to anybody's house, they either have a 50-inch, flat screen or bigger, and when we're growing up, a 27-inch TV is like a big screen almost.
I remember those days. Yes, and of course,
Yeah.
I remember the time then when we got married, like back in '91. The first thing we did was buy a 27-inch Sharp TV. It was like $300. It was on sale. Those things went for $500. Now it's just like 27 inches is nothing. But those days, it's like you had just great quality on 27 inches.
Yeah. So I remember it was at an aunt and uncle's house, and they rented a bunch of movies. And I remember, they didn't have any kids at the time, and we were visiting. My parents were staying there, so they rented a bunch of horror movies. And this was like the early '80s, so I remember they rented Creep Show, and which is another one of my favorites. But I remember them renting like Maniac, and I remember we were watching it like on this 27-inch TV, which was really huge to us, as kids. And I mean, I had my fingers like covered, like I was just peeking through my fingers through that whole movie, because it had this creepy vibe, and it was just super gritty. And, and I always remembered that, and William Lustig kind of always found that way to make his movies very gritty. So, as a kid, I always remember things like that. I always remembered certain styles and certain things. So that was another good movie. Brian De Palma, I think, is probably one of my favorites, because I love Hitchcock movies too, and they kind of have a similar style. And where say like they put a bomb underneath a bus, and you're watching people get on the bus, and then at the same time they're doing a split screen of you watching the bomb, the counters going down,
Boom.
yeah, and and it's just so suspense filled. And De Palma, he does that really well. And of course, Hitchcock was the master of that. And so I also love, Brian De Palma movies. Well, what's as funny is Scarface is like one of the only ones of his movies that kind of don't even have that element, but it works really well. It almost doesn't even feel like a De Palma movie sometimes. But I love Brian De Palma's work. I think he's great. But I have a almost 100 probably influences in all different genres. But yeah, just to kind of narrow it down for a minute, those are some of my favorites.
And that had to be as well, too. I'll talk about some of your movies along with your recents as well, too. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look on a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give a official shout-out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia. Available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and enjoyed by Hollywood celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forrest Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Goes Missing by Mia Molson-Zia. Available on Amazon. Also, the Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by a picture of this photo book, so remembering is a key ingredient. How beautiful your mother looked at a wedding, and even more so at yours. And who doesn't miss Grandma's meatballs, huh? Well, the holidays are coming. What better time to give a gift for remembrance that makes you laugh and cry all at the same time? Whatever gift for Grandma's recipes or just because, those smiles and tears will melt your heart. Call Karen Shaw, picture this photo books at 646-798-0809 or visit picturethisphotoBooks.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Picture This Photo Books. Bring your memories back to life. The whimsical, casual, or formal, and always uniquely you. Also, check out The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com and over 30 podcast platforms. Take The Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow The Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter, and check out the merchandise at themikewagnershow.com and also on Amazon.com at The Mike Wagner Show Podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to the Me and Molson-Zia store at Amazon for great merchandise, books, and more. And don't forget to donate generously to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com. Also on Anchor FM/support and PayPal, and make sure you do so today. We're here with the award-winning filmmaker and actor with over 27 credits, the amazingly multi-talented Michael S. Rodriguez here on The Mike Wagner Show, and we'll be talking about Dealings, Last American Horror Show 2, and also just noticed Realm of Shadows is coming. But first of all, let's take on some of the movies you've done, and you got King Scroll, Lamb Feed, and Night of the Sea Monkey, Strange Files, Realm of Shadows, Dead Voices, and Lake of Shadows, a lot more. And tell us about some of those, and if you want to pick some of your favorites out of so many, feel free to have at it.
Yeah. You know what? Let's start with Lamb Feed, which is a short piece that actually is part of the first original Last American Horror Show that's out streaming. It's on DVD. It's been out since 2018. But it's funny because I want to continue with the last question you gave me was favorite actors. So I mentioned movies and directors, but this actually leads into Lamb Feed. There was an actor. Okay, that and I'm known to work with cult actors and actors that have been in obscurity. I've worked with lots of people. So one of I remember years ago I watched a movie in black and white, and it was called The Sadist, and that starred Arch Hall Jr. The movie, and I remember, and I told my wife, I go, hey, come watch this movie with me. And we're watching this movie, and there was this evil character. It was this black and white movie. It was kind of remind you of Natural Born Killers. It's kind of had all this edginess. It was made like in the early 60s, way ahead of its time. And there was this character in it called Charlie Tibbs, and he was the bad guy. And he kind of seemed like this over the top Disney villain, the way he looked and the way he talked, and and the way he held his gun. All his mannerisms were just so cool. And I thought to myself, wow. And it was one of those shows when you're watching it, they have like a late night host, and they're talking about oh, did you know that during this filming of this movie and they're dressed like Elvira, and so towards the end of it, they're like, well, the sadist is no longer a sadist. He retired from acting, in the mid 60s, and he's been a commercial airline pilot for the last 35 years, right?
Wow, amazing.
So I remembered that, right? I remembered that. So like I was like, wow, this guy was like amazing. I can't believe like he quit acting. So when I started making films, that was the first actor I wanted to find and work with because he was still around. He was still alive, he was still around. And so I remember like just scouring the internet trying to find this guy out, trying to look him up or whatever. And he had just retired from flying for an airline.
Uh-huh.
And so I looked him up. He ended up being in Florida and all this stuff. So anyways, I started trying to correspond with him. We were corresponding and everything like that. And I wanted him to play a sheriff in my Night of the Sea Monkey movie, but I hadn't known him yet. So then by the time I started developing Lamb Feed, I said, you know what, I'm going to contact him because I'd really like for him to play the patriarch because it's a movie sort of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And, all these characters are kind of like family and they're kind of weird and, creepy. And so I contacted him and, we were corresponding for a while. And then all of a sudden we got on the phone and we started talking and we hit it off. I mean, despite, a 30, 35 age, year difference between both of us, we actually hit it off really good, like we became really good friends.
Oh, amazing.
But he told me no the first time, right? He said, well, yeah, I don't know, I don't do this anymore, and this and this and that. And I'm like, okay, well, you had the script and everything and this and that. So I felt kind of bad. And then so what happened was, I guess he took some time to think about it. He went on a trip to Honduras, and they were telling him stories of people that were eating people to like rejuvenate themselves. They were eating gallbladders and all this stuff. And the film has cannibalism in it. So like all of a sudden he just kind of got this like intrigue about it, right? So he emails me and says, hey Mike, call me, blah blah blah, and so we're talking and I'm like, hey Arch, how old are you right now, and he goes, I'm about 70 going on 71. And I
wow.
said, and I go, so how long have you been out of the movie business? Oh geez, so it's been like 50 years now, right? And I said, well, you better not wait too much longer,
or I'm gonna eat you.
Yeah. And it's funny because it's a story he always tells people that I kind of pressured him with his age to come back into the business, So, anyways, he was one of my favorites. I just loved his acting, and he came in and knocked it out, and we've been close friends ever since. We talk to each other all the time, and I had asked him. I said, Arch, he came out there. And I asked him, and I think this is one of the best compliments I've ever gotten from an actor. I've always had a really good rapport with all the talent I've worked with. But I remember I asked him, hey Arch, I go, why'd you do this? You're all the way out here from Florida, 50 years out of the business, and I'm just some kid from the San Joaquin Valley. What'd you do this for? Well, see, Arch, when Arch Hall had his movie career, he was working for his dad. His dad owned a company called Fairway International out of Van Nuys.
Okay.
And so all these movies were produced by his father and his father's company. So by the time they got to their fourth or fifth film, the overhead was so big that the dad had to shut the company down. So once the company shut down, Arch's dad used him as the talent. He was always going to be the leading man, because it was cheaper to have your son. It was cheaper to have your son play the leading man. So Arch went off, and he had other endeavors. He had a dream of flying, so he became an airline pilot. That was his main goal growing up. So that's why he left the business. It was really never his dream. But so when I asked him that question, he says, "Well, Mike," he goes, "to be honest with you, you remind me so much of my dad."
Huh.
And I would do anything for him, and just getting to know you, and just your spunk and everything, man. You're just like him, so I couldn't say no. And I thought that was the greatest compliment.
And it sounds like it too. I thought I was going to throw in some airline tickets as well too, like fly free to Cancun or something.
Oh, that would be great. I better hit him up. Maybe he can still.
Oh, there you go. That's a good thing too. You also had in there Mel Novak and Felisa Rose. We already talked about Lynn Lowry, Robert Mukes as well. Tell us more about those actors as well too, especially Mel Novak, who is just amazing.
Wow, you know what? I have a really good story about Mel Novak. When I was a kid, right? I was born in the the early 70s. So when I was like, I don't know, I was I was probably about 5 or 6 years old. We went to the drive-in to go see Bruce Lee's Game of Death, right?
Yes. Classic.
And it was like, yeah, and it was the last movie that Bruce Lee's actually in. We all know he died like in the early 70s, right after Enter the Dragon. But Game of Death was like this that was pretty much like his passion project that he would work on periodically, as he was doing other films. So by the time they got it all edited and put together, he had already been passed away, probably like 6 or 7 years.
Wow.
So I remember going to go see Game of Death, and I didn't know that as a kid. I didn't know, like, because you go to see actors on in these movies, and before that you didn't really have like entertainment shows, and kids really didn't watch news, and we didn't have the internet, so I had no idea Bruce Lee had been gone. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I knew that he had really made these cool movies, and I seen them all on TV and stuff like that. And so I go to see Game of Death, and there's that scene that Bruce Lee's getting ready to do this stunt. He's in the thing, and all of a sudden this guy shows up, and he's got this little matchstick in his mouth, and he kneels down by the camera, and he pulls this like revolver out, and he's pointing it at Bruce Lee. And you're thinking, okay, well, it's part of the movie, this and this and that. And then everything happens, and Bruce Lee gets shot, and there's blood coming out, and then all of a sudden they're pronouncing him dead, and I'm just like shocked. And that whole scene, I mean, as a kid, I'm watching, I'm like, oh my God, this evil dude, this guy with this ice cold look killed Bruce Lee, and Bruce Lee was like a superhero, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
When you're growing up, I mean, when you're growing up, you have certain icons. You have like King Kong, Godzilla, and Bruce Lee,
Mm-hmm. Everybody wanted to be like Bruce Lee, ha karate.
Right. So I remember just hating this guy, and I'm like, God, this guy, and then they show like real footage of Bruce Lee in his casket in the movie. They actually used that footage, and I'm like, oh, my jaw was dropped. I'm like, oh my goodness, look what this guy did. I was so pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course he comes back, at the end of the movie, he gets revenge, and then he kills that guy, and he goes up, the pagoda, and he kills everybody else. And anyways, all those years go by, and I remember that. And then all of a sudden, one day, I'm like face to face with this guy on set directing him. You know what I mean?
Wow.
This guy that killed one of my heroes. And it was just a surreal moment, when we first worked and we're physically in the same room together. And just like Arch, Mel and I, through my directing and writing a good character for him in Last American Horror Show 2, we became great friends. I mean, I went through some recent tragedies with my family, and he's a prayer warrior. So like, he's always checking in on me and sending me Bible verses.
Nice.
And he still does that. And he's such a dear person. And we got to work together. We did Realm of Shadows, where I played Brother Charles, who was working for His Excellency. He was my mentor in Realm of Shadows, which stars Tony Todd. So after directing him, I eventually actually got to do like an actual scene. I got to act with him.
Wow.
So that's coming out probably in 2022. So we're really excited about that. That's directed by Jimmy Drain from Colorado, and he's a younger director coming up. Keep an eye out for him. It was really fun to work on. I tell people I'm in a Tony Todd movie, but technically I go, because don't ask me how he is on set, because we did scenes that are probably going to be cut back and forth with him. So unfortunately, I didn't get to physically work with him. But hey, I'm on a poster, a credit, with Tony Todd. So I will take it however. But I did have a really good time on the set, and I had a really good part with Mel. He and I were really good scene partners.
That is so amazing. And we'll talk about your other latest movie dealings in just 1 minute. You listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Also brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international war-ring author Mia Molson's Day of Missing, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Also brought to you by Picture This Photo Books, where remembering is a key ingredient. Call Karen Shaw at 646-798-0809 or visit picturethisphotobooks.com. We'll be back with award-winning filmmaker and actor with over 27 credits, Michael Rodriguez, after this time out. This edition of the Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Picture This Photo Books, where remembering is the key ingredient. How beautiful your mother looked at her wedding, and even more so at yours. And who doesn't miss Grandma's meatballs? The holidays are coming. What better time to give a gift of remembrance that makes you laugh and cry all at the same time? Whatever gift like Grandma's recipes, or just because, those smiles and tears will melt your heart. Call Karen Shaw at 646-798-0809 or visit picturethisphotobooks.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 10% off your first order. Picture This Photo Books, bringing your memories back to life. They're whimsical, casual, or formal, and always uniquely you.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamoshenzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Hey, this is Ray Powers. And if there's one thing you can count on in these unpredictable times, it's that you're in good hands getting some great radio, courtesy of The Mike Wagner Show.
We're back with award-winning filmmaker, actor Michael S. Rodriguez on the Mike Wagner Show. We talked about a bit about Realm of Shadows, Last American Horror Show, and the upcoming sequel for 2022, Last American Horror Show 2. We also talked about Lamb Feed, Night of the Sea Monkey, and more, how I got started. And there's also another one that's going to be coming out, is Dealings as well, too. And tell us more about that, Michael.
Well, you know, Dealings, what happened was sometimes I get a certain itch just to make like a project, a passion project, you know, with really no other end goal but just to make something really cool. And you know, when it boils down to it, I think I'm always going to be just that artist, the artist that, you know, that takes the vow of poverty and, you know, decides, hey, look, I'm gonna create something, you know, whether I just got two sticks to rub together or not or whatever. So what happened was, you know, I was itching to kind of like, between projects, between feature films, I always want to do a little something just to kind of keep the weaponry sharp, you know. And so one day I start writing, and you know, for some reason a year prior to that I did an episode for Strange Files. It's a show I produce, and what I do is I produce other young and up and coming writer directors that make horror shorts, and kind of like Twilight Zone or Night Gallery. Mm-hmm. I string them together and I showcase their films.
Wow, amazing.
So I produced them on a show called Strange Files. So that was airing on Avail TV for a while, and Avail TV eventually the contract ran out, and they had other obligations and they did other stuff. So anyways, I got with another company called Fearflix. So what we did was we delivered a huge 3-episode piece to Fearflix, and I'm planning to make more and produce more as we go along. But a year ago, I decided, you know what, I'll make one of the finale episode. So what I did was I did a film called Day of the Pigs, and it's about these bank robbers that they break down near a pig farm, and they're looking to hijack somebody's car. So they go to this pig farm that's owned by two women that are witches.
Oh my
And
gosh.
these witches end up doing this kind of spell thing to them, and these men start gradually turning into pigs, hogs, you know.
Oh my gosh.
So it's kind of like From Dusk Till Dawn. It's got a little Tarantino thing to it, but what would happen was dealing with a whole new element just besides horror, dealing with the element of like crime and drama. I kind of like wanted to test those waters and say, you know what, I want to write something that's completely non-horror, that has to do with just humans, you know, just doing dastardly things to each other. And so I wrote Dealings at the end of February. And what happened was the very night I wrote the final and first draft of Dealings, I woke up at 5 a.m. having a heart attack.
Oh,
Like,
no. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, literally having a heart attack. So I go to the hospital at 5:30 a.m. They're sending me by ambulance. I'm on oxygen and all this other stuff. So anyways, while I'm recovering in there, I'm like calling, I'm getting my wheelchair and I'll roll up to where, because in the hospitals you don't get no really good receptions in certain areas, so like I'm wheeling up towards like the glass door so I can call like people, because I'm starting to put pre-production together, because like I want to make this, like this movie is like I gotta make this, and so within 10 days of my recovering, I was already on set and we were shooting the movie.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's available on YouTube right now. I put it up free on YouTube because I just wanted to give something back to a lot of fans that have supported me over the years. They come, like I go to shows and they come and they buy posters and they buy DVDs from me, and and I appreciate that, because I mean I love being able to give something to somebody and them enjoy it, and and they'll review it and put it on YouTube. But I felt, you know what, I'm going to do this piece, and I think this is really going to be fun and entertaining, but I'm just going to put it up for free and just give that back to the fans. And so it's been on YouTube now for a few weeks. It's doing really well. And all I can tell you this, it's a crime thriller, and it's like if the Coen brothers and Quentin Tarantino had a 17-minute baby, there you go. And that's what you're going to get.
Wow, that is fascinating, and I'm so happy how you came back from that heart attack and pulled that off. That is so amazing, Michael. Amazing. And where can we find all your works at? Dealings, we talked about that. Where can we find Last American Horror Show? That in 2, Realm of Shadows, Land Feed, Night of the Sea Monkey, and more. Where can we find all your works at?
You can find them Last American Horror Show, which features Land Feed, Night of the Sea Monkey, those are all in there. Basically, Last American Horror Show, the both volumes are my love letters to like Creep Show, to Tales from the Dark Side, to anthology horror films. So both of those contain all of those films strung together very neatly with a wraparound story. So the first Last American Horror Show, you can find that it's streaming everywhere. If you have a Prime subscription, you can watch it there. Tubi TV has it. Apple TV has it. There's even a few channels, if you search it up on YouTube, they're connected to my distributor, so like it's even on YouTube, so you can actually watch it without paying anything. The Fandango's running it. You can order it through Target, Walmart, Barnes and Nobles. It's everywhere. And likewise with the sequel, which will be out March 4th, 2022. Can't wait, because it's the bigger version of the first movie. The first movie, it's a full feature film, and it has 4 stories, but the second one, we decided to go all out, and we said, let's stretch this thing to 6 stories. Like I think Creepshow had like 5 stories in it. I go, you know what, let's go 6.
Wow.
And make this like a big piece with a variety of different elements of horror. So you got like slasher, you got cannibalism, you got zombie ghost, you got Jack the Ripper, you got space aliens. So this one
sounds like fun. And don't forget sharks. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I wish that'd be the dream. I would love to make a really, really good like direct sequel to Jaws, and make because all the other ones kind of fell apart as they went along because they try to make it just more about the shark. But if I ever had a chance just to make a follow-up of that, not a reboot. I don't like reboots, never really work. But if I did a direct follow-up like they're doing with like the Halloween series now and everything like that, I would love to do it justice. That would be great. So if Spielberg, you're listening.
Or you know what? How about the Sea Monkey versus Jaws? How's that? Night of the Sea Monkey versus Jaws in the daytime.
That would be great. I'd be down for it.
Sounds great as well, too. We're here with Michael S. Rodriguez here on the Mike Wagner Show, award-winning filmmaker, actor as well, too. In just a few more minutes, you've been amazing. And what can we expect from you in 2021 and beyond, Michael?
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. Well, right now, I got some stuff released. Right now, we're finishing up the edit on Lake of Shadows. This has been a movie that I've been working on for quite a few years now, and the reason why is because it's an epic tale of a true story. There's a lake out here in the Central Valley and I'm not kidding, it's taken the lives of over 150 people, and it swallows them up in this lake. It's a man-made lake that people they never recover from. They just, every summer at least 2 or 3 people go disappear. They die in this lake. They find them drowned. But there's always all these different reasons. Anyways, we did a sort of documentary that's a slash found footage, that's a slash reenactment movie that's taken years to make because we're getting authentic stories behind some of these crimes, and some of them are crimes and some of them are mishaps. So we're working on the final edits for that, and we're going to look for distribution in 2022, and that stars a lot of stars as well as are in it. The reenactments are done really well, and we get real testimony from like real people that have like had experiences on the lake. So it's been a process, to get all that compiled and all the facts and everything like that. So I'm pretty excited about that coming out. Realm of Shadows 2022 also, and Last American Horror Show 2022. I'm in negotiations right now to maybe do for a streaming channel an exclusive movie content for their show for their platform exclusively. So that's something that's going on. I never stop. I'm just going to keep moving.
Oh, that's amazing. I mean, you got so much energy, Michael, and I admire you. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
Oh, wow. Spielberg's up there because, I mean, man, he just, he makes movies that he knocks it out of the park. And, and he's tested the waters in different genres and just quite a storyteller. There's another guy that's actually been a mentor of mine named Jim Van Beber. He's kind of an underground filmmaker, but he's one of those guys that kind of goes for the gusto, and, he's still doing the independent thing and he's still trudging along, but I admire that about him because he's kind of, he stays underground and, it's where he prefers, but he shoots everything on 8mm film. So he's another one that's an inspiration. Tarantino's a big inspiration. I love his work. I love his writing. I think a lot of people do. So yeah, that's where I'm at. And also I want to plug one more thing. I actually produced something that's shot on Super 8mm film, a feature film starring Eric Roberts, who I got to work with in July.
Nice.
And Eric is just an amazing person. I mean, I got to just working with him, just his body of work, over the years, he's done so much great stuff. But what a quality person to work with. And I'd love to bring him back and put him in another feature. If something comes up that I really, need to shoot, I think I'm going to be, giving him a call because we had a blast in July.
Oh, that's so amazing. You got a lot going. This is great. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Okay, the best advice I can give to anybody at this point is filmmaking isn't easy. It could be an uphill battle. And on any level, whether you want to do something that's schlocky B-movie stuff, if you want to do something that's trauma-esque, or if you want to do something that's, that's polished, that looks like a De Palma movie or a movie that Michael Bay would do. On any level, it's always going to be an uphill battle. And all I can tell you is this. If you show up every day to set and it's never worked for you, whether you're there 8 hours or whether you're there 16 hours, and if you go home and you're not dragging your feet and you're happy with what you did, then it's not work, then it's probably for you. So you know what? Go for it. And you know what? You'll probably be a success at it.
And that's very fantastic advice. Once again, award-winning filmmaker, actor with over 27 credits, Michael S. Rodriguez on The Mike Wagner Show. Michael, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor. Keep us up to date. Love you back in 2021 and beyond. Don't forget to keep in touch. Once again, tell us about your upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out your works?
All right. Well, I am on Facebook. I'm very limited on my friends right now, but I can still squeeze a few people in, and I can cut off some ballast if I have to. But you can find me at Michael S. Rodriguez on Facebook and MSR Studios 1 on Instagram. I have a Twitter, but I don't really use the Twitter, so don't go there. There's a horror platform of social media that's called Slasher. You can find me there at MSR Studios 46. You can find me there. My office is always open, but don't DM me with like 5 scripts, okay? Because I probably won't be able to get to them. But please look me up if you like and follow my work. You can find Last American Horror Show, the first volume. You can pretty much find it on any streaming platform. It's on several streaming platforms. Tubi, you can watch it on Amazon Prime. Like I said, if you type it into YouTube, there's a few channels through my distributor that show it with ads. Look for Horror Show 2 next year, March 4th. 2022, along with Realm of Shadows, starring the great Tony Todd, the great Mel Novak, and the great Vernon Wells, who was Wes in Road Warrior with Mel Gibson. He's also in it. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. And also, I have a show called Strange Files that you can stream on Fearflix. Now, Fearflix is sort of like Netflix, but it's all horror. They add new content every week. You get new movies. It's a growing channel. So right now, for $6.99, you can have a whole year of Fearflix for only $6.99. That's pretty good.
We certainly will do so. Once again, Michael, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor. Keep us up to date. Love you back in 2021 and beyond. Don't forget to keep in touch. You've been absolutely terrific. We wish you all the best, and you've got a great thing going. Just keep it up.
Thank you, Mike. It's been a pleasure.
Picture this photo books, where remembering is the key ingredient. Preserving memories, keeping the memories of your loved ones alive as they reach in and touch your heart. How beautiful your mother looked at her wedding, and even more so at yours. The holidays are coming. What better time to give a gift of remembrance that makes you laugh and cry all at the same time? Whether it's a gift of past holidays, grandma's recipes, long ago moments, or just because, those smiles and tears will melt your heart. Call Karen Shaw at 646-798-0809. Once again, that's 646-798-0809. Or visit picturethisphotoBooks.com.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamotionzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, Custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.